If you desire to walk in alignment with your purpose, to live a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment, you've come to the right place. This is Sarah Locke, and welcome to Purpose Unlocked. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share with you something that has been life-changing for me, and that has been joining the Y, because it gives me the opportunity to work out. They have childcare, and while it was pricier than our previous gym membership, I think it's well worth it because, again, I have the childcare, so I can work out and take my time, and then it also has the pool, and actually drowning is the #1 killer of children under 5. That's something that scares my husband and I a lot. So I wanted to get Kingston in the pool and familiar with the water and the fact that if you get water in your mouth, it's gross and you cough on it. And so I want to eventually get him to the point where he can be floating on his back on his own. And I know that there is infant self-rescue training out there, but it's not something that I felt the need to sign him up for just yet. But definitely something I would look into in the future if I wasn't able to teach him those skills on my own. But it's something I want to try on my own first because I did teach swimming lessons, and I think that it's something that I'll be able to teach him. So I'm pretty confident in that, and he's been loving the pool. But what I've been loving almost just as much is the hilarious conversations I have been having around the pool, because as soon as we get in, we are surrounded by little girls telling me, "Oh, I love your baby." So he is already quite the lady magnet. And yeah, we're having a good time. It definitely tires him out, and he's napping longer, and things are good. Life is good. I'm in a good groove right now, Paige, and well rested, which isn't something that I felt like I'd be able to say.
That's good. That's good. What are some of these funny conversations, though? You have not given me the details on other things these little girls have been saying.
Well, they usually come up to us and start telling me how cute my baby is, and then I'll say, "His name's Kingston. What's your name?" And they usually tell me. Sometimes they have something fun to tell me about their name or what it means or where it came from. So that's cute to hear. But then when they start getting more comfortable around you, they just start asking wild questions. Like one of the girls, mind you, you would never ask, like an adult would never ask someone this within moments of meeting them. But one of the girls asked me, "What did it feel like when he came out?" And I'm pretty sure I scarred her for life because my answer was, "Well, he was cut out." And she looked horrified. And then the girl next to her was like, "Oh, that's how me and my brother were born because we're twins." And I was like, "Yeah, usually with twins, you have to have a C-section, which is what I had to have with Kingston." And another girl was like, "I don't want to have a baby like that." And I was like, "Girlfriend, me either." And yeah, it just had to happen like that. She was like, "Did that hurt?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it hurts either way." So yeah, like birth is one of those things. No good options. No good options. But the funny thing about birth is you're so wildly pregnant that you actually get to the point where you're like, "Get this baby out of me. I don't care how. I get it out." Like, yeah, you just become so big and uncomfortable. And again, that doesn't happen to everybody. Like some people don't get huge, which I don't understand. But yeah, I was so big and I felt swollen. And I feel like other people would look at me and be like, "Oh, you weren't that big." But I feel like those people would also be lying to my face because I felt enormous. And I was really swollen towards the end, and that's not comfortable. And actually being so swollen gives you carpal tunnel, but that's probably a different conversation for a different day. But yeah, I had swelling induced carpal tunnel sausage fingers. It was great. Yeah, so that was one of the questions was how did it feel when he was coming out? The other question came from a little boy, because I feel like little boys, they start on a chain of questions and they just like they don't stop. They'll just keep asking, like one right after the other, like, can you keep up? And so he made a funny comment about Kingston looking like a lifeguard baby. And because he had a red hat on and he has a long sleeve rash guard to protect him from the sun and whatnot. And he was like, he looks like a lifeguard baby. Is he a lifeguard baby? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I think maybe he will be a lifeguard one day because I was a lifeguard. And he was like, oh, why aren't you a lifeguard anymore? And I hadn't really thought about that. So I didn't. I was like, because I went to college and then I got a different job. He's like, oh, what was that job? And I'm like, well, this isn't going to sound wildly interesting, but I don't know how to lie. And I wasn't sure how to make business intelligence analyst sound digestible to a 7-year-old. So I was like, I did mathematics for an insurance company. And he was just kind of like, oh. And that was the end of that conversation. He was like, well, loser. Oh, well. But yeah, definitely fun conversations. Definitely the lady magnet at the pool. He's got all the girls chatting us up.
Yesterday, I had the pleasure of FaceTiming you, and we had your little neighbor join us in our conversation. And so I wrote down some of the highlights.
She also likes to call Kingston her best friend. Like, he's my best friend, which I think is so funny because she's 7 and he's 7 months.
She was talking about her frogs, and you were asking her, like, if she was feeding them, like making sure that they were close to water, what she was feeding them. And she goes that she was definitely feeding them crickets. There was 5 frogs total. There was 1 big one, 4 little ones. And the green ones had sticky paws.
She did keep saying they had sticky paws.
And she was moving them into another box today and releasing them tomorrow because tomorrow was Father's Day so that they could be with their daddies.
This is true. This is a true story. Like, they might have fathers and they have to spend Father's Day with their frog dads. So
Yep.
Obviously. We can't keep them for that. Well, okay, the reason this needs backstory because this is not the first frog interaction that her and I have had. And that is because she caught frogs in the yard the other day, and one of them was like pretty hefty. But they all died overnight, and I was like, yeah, that's because they need air and water and food. Like, you need to make sure they get those things. So that's why I asked what she was feeding them and if she was going to be releasing them, because I was concerned for the livelihood of said frogs that she had recently captured. She said that she was feeding them crickets and that she was letting them swim. And I didn't get the details as to when swim time was or what that looks like. Is there a different bucket that they swim in? I don't know. I don't know the situation.
Yes, she said that she liked frogs because they are cute, jumpy, and swim.
I do like that she likes that they're jumpy.
And then her father, this was out there, and he was trying to get her back from being from on your side, being like, what are you doing over there? Like, don't bother the poor neighbor. And she's just like, I want to say hi to Kingston. Kingston's my bestest friend. He just had a bath.
Yeah, he was a clean baby that day.
He was. So I think the other reason why she was over there talking to you was because
she didn't want to knock on the door just to show us her big frog, but she did really want to show us her big frog. I think she was just, no, I wouldn't say too shy to knock. Shy would not be the word that I would use to describe this little girl. So I don't know what it was that stopped her, to be honest, because yeah, she She's quite the character. She goes after what she wants.
My favorite one is because kids are honest. Because you did show her your sister. So, and she was just like, I love your sister's hair color. Like, that just made my week.
Yeah, there was actually one time that I told her that her hair was, I was like, oh, your hair's getting really long. And she's like, yeah, my mom said I should cut it, but I don't want to because it's really pretty. And I was like, you go, girl. Like, don't let anyone shatter that confidence. Like, you keep
I know. I hope she doesn't change. Like, tell her, please don't change. Just stay the amazing little girl that she is. So, from going back to the why, other than getting back into the gym and helping you have some personal time and be able to play in the pool with Kingston, how else has going to the Y helped you?
Well, for me, going to the gym is a lot about helping maintain my mental health because I feel like that's how it just helps me keep my cool. And it's one of the things that puts me in a better mood. It really sets my mood for the rest of the day because I've just noticed that during pregnancy, when I worked out, I felt a lot better. And that's really been my whole life, being consistent with working out. When I do work out, I just feel a lot better and it puts me in a better mood. So working out at the Y, it's as much for my mental health as it is for my physical health and just maintaining some sense of sanity because that's been really hard recently with hormone fluctuations and changes and postpartum. And then they say that once you stop breastfeeding, which I was pumping for 6 months, once you stop that, then you go through all these other hormone changes. And I just have noticed that, like, I feel like my PMS symptoms in some ways are worse in terms of my irritability and just my mood. And I feel like working out has helped with that.
Okay, great. I cannot wait until Kingston starts talking because he is a little chatty Cathy with his ba-ba-bas. But I can't wait until our little pterodactyl and our little sheep actually is able to form real sentences and can say funny things.
Ugh, I can't wait for that. Because kids just say the cutest things. And so I can't wait until he can say things. But right now, yeah, we have to settle for his buying like a sheep and his pterodactyl noises. And he's also been doing like these really cute coos lately. Like he'll be like when he wakes up from a nap and he's in a good mood.
You just recently joined the Y, but going along with mental health, what about your cognitive abilities? Mom brain is real. And so has it helped at all with mom brain?
I'm not sure if it's helped with mom brain, but I will say the few people that I've met at the Y, I am able to remember their names, which when I was pregnant, I had a really hard time remembering people's names, but we had just moved. So I was meeting so many new people at once, which makes it really hard to remember people's names. But before I got pregnant, I was really good with names. I was pretty good at remembering. And then while I was pregnant, no dice. And then afterwards, I thought that my brain was going to snap back together, and it really hadn't. I will say, now that I'm not pumping, I think it's getting a little bit better. They say that your brain, certain regions of your brain shrink, but it's to make you, I think other regions of your brain grow, and it's to make you more attuned with your baby's needs. And so any like change in temperature or change in coloring, like anything that happens to Kingston, I'm very attuned to. But when it comes to remembering people's names or remember why I walked into a certain room, it was like, what? So I do think that that's getting slightly better. yeah, I don't know how long mom brain is supposed to last, but it's hopefully it's wearing off.
The human body is amazing.
Yeah. I thought that becoming a mom would make the whole birth creating human life thing seem more almost like normal, right? But and maybe normal is not the word I'm looking for, but just more like, oh yeah, everybody does it. Everyone has babies. But after having done it, I was like, how? How has the human race continued to this point? Because it is so crazy. It's so miraculous and so difficult and so a lot of things, but it didn't normalize it for me. It made me more in utter shock that there's so many people that like, I was like, whoa, like moms can do anything. Like if you've had a baby, you've pretty much like, you've done the hard thing.
Oh, you've done the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And then again, that's just the start of it.
Yeah. Growing a baby with your body and then feeding that baby with your body and keeping it alive with your body and trying to maintain some shred of sanity all while barely getting any sleep. That is like that is mental toughness. that will grow your resilience for sure.
To the nth degree. I can't believe that again. That is how it starts. And that's not even like, okay, yeah, that's the hard part, but like that's not even the hard part kind of thing. Cause it's like, okay, that's I want to say temporary compared to all the other stuff that comes after now. Cause that lasts months and months and months and months and months. Or, you know, a total of 18 years that you're looking after this human and trying to make them an effective member of society.
Well, I think that it actually slowly gets easier over time in different ways. So each stage has its hard things. And obviously, I'm still in the baby stage, but pregnancy stage, no fun at all. And then you have the baby, and that's really hard, but at least you have a baby. And not to say you have your body back to yourself, because you kind of do, but also you have to feed the baby. So your body's still not like all yours. And then yeah, so there's different layers of hard, and then you're not sleeping, and then you start to sleep more, and then the baby starts to do more things. Not that Kingston can really do anything for himself, but now he can sit up. I remember that being a huge, when he went from not being able to sit up by himself to being able to sit up by himself. It's like now you can put him on the floor and he's not going to scream bloody murder at least some of the time. Whereas before that, they hate being on the floor because they can't move. So it's like you put them down and then they get really upset. So yeah, that's hard. So then you have to wear them and your back hurts. So yeah, I'm probably not selling it well, but I promise.
Then once they do become mobile, which now he's crawling around, then that's a whole nother thing, which I mean, it's awesome. And like I mean, me personally, I love being able to see him learn and like, develop like on the daily pretty much, it seems. But then again, then it's like, get all the gates, get all the things baby proof, because he is mobile and again won't cry. Like he cries when you lift him, when somebody else lifts him up now. He just wants to be on the floor crawling and exploring. And again, then he's getting into everything. So you gotta, then that's what you have to manage.
Yeah, I think them being mobile, it definitely adds a level of danger, because now he can get into things he couldn't get into before. But it's good because he's definitely a little bit better at entertaining himself. Like now he has toys that he interacts with more. And so that part's really helpful, because then I can actually run to the bathroom without him screaming or start cooking dinner. And yeah, I have to take breaks and pick him up and, put him in the bouncy. Or if he's really fussy, then I do just have to wear him like in his baby carrier. But Yeah, I do think that it's gotten a little bit easier. And then each stage, like I said, it adds a different level of hard, but it also is easier in certain ways. Like I'm looking forward to him being able to stand up on his own, because then I think the whole getting ready at the Y is like a process and a half, because I have to go from his outfit and my workout clothes, right? And get us both in bathing suits. And then I have to get us both out of wet bathing suits and into clothes again. So that whole process, if he were able to stand up on his own, it would be a little bit easier. Now because they also, once they start getting wiggly, like they don't want to stay on a baby changing table and like lay there and not scream their heads off. So now I bring like a sheet that I'll put down on the ground so that he can be on the ground at least.
Okay.
So that I don't have to worry about him falling off of anything, and that he can be like moving a little bit and kind of have his freedom, to crawl. But yeah. So, but once he can stand up on his own, well, then he might be like running around the locker room. And so that'll present other challenges, right? But
yeah, but then again, then you won't need the carrier anymore. Like you just use it as a car seat, because then he'll be able to walk. So that again, that makes that part, the whole bringing him to the Y, much easier.
Yeah. The only challenge then will be, because it's a stroller car seat, like it's a little bit heavy. So then I'll have to put him in the car seat, and like he'll be bigger by then, right? So then I'm gonna have to put him in the car seat and like hoist him up into the car and try not to throw my back out.
Could you just like lift him up into the car and then lift him up into the car seat and just keep the car seat in the car?
Probably not, because I don't think you can tighten it. I think the car seat that we have, you can't loosen it and tighten it while it's in the car. At least I haven't been able to, and perhaps I'm incorrect.
Okay.
I'll have to try that. But I haven't been able to loosen the car seat while it's attached to the base.
Okay.
Not like I have to take him out, take the whole thing out of the car and then hoist it back in the car.
Okay.
But we'll learn. We're going to live and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've said before, each stage of life is going to have its challenges. It's going to have its different levels of hard, but with it also comes these huge blessings and these milestones and things that we're learning. So as he's learning, I'm also learning, which is kind of funny because he's never been a human before, but I've never been a mom before. So we're just learning all of these things together. But it's been really good. I feel like I'm in a really good place this week, especially after being able to get my workouts in and get my endorphins going. So I hope that we continue on this path, because I'm having a good run. I'm feeling good. So I'm looking forward to more positive conversations and all the things that I'm learning along the way. Thank you for the precious gift of your time. If you found this helpful, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone you love. Until next time, count your blessings, love yourself, and stay fabulous.